For our first ever EcoBite, we wanted to tell you the story of our unofficial mascot and longest animal resident, Stumpy. It all started in 1981, somewhere in southeast Alabama. Locals regularly swam with several alligators in the local swimming hole. They even named one after a distinguishing characteristic it had, a missing left foot. In July of that year, a young woman tested the limits with a wild animal and hit Stumpy, and in response, he chose to bite her. If that had happened in 2020, Stumpy would have been euthanized. So what saved Stumpy? Was it his good looks or charming personality? No, it was the Endangered Species Act, proper permitting, and some brave scientists from Savannah River Ecology Lab. American alligators were listed under the Endangered Species Preservation Act in 1967, which would become the Endangered Species Act in 1973. By the mid-1970s, populations had begun to grow enough that research facilities could apply for a scientific permit to collect alligators as long as it was not detrimental to the local population. In the 1980s, the alligator status slowly began to change from endangered to threatened due to similarity of appearance. Louisiana was first to change to threatened in 1981, with the remaining states in the alligator range following in 1985 and 1987. Once word reached the scientists at Savannah River Ecology Lab, a plan was made. Senior ecologist and University of Georgia professor Dr. Whit Gibbons made sure they had adequate room and proper permits in place, then sent some technicians to go and retrieve the nuisance gator that bit a woman. Stumpy arrived in 1982, around 9 feet long, weighing 500 pounds, and estimated to be 10 to 12 years old. 2 years later, in 1984, Dr. Gibbons was contacted about another alligator from Kiowa Island, South Carolina, that was deemed a nuisance and needed to be relocated. Since it was a female, she was introduced to Stumpy, and they have been a bonded pair ever since. She is 9.5 feet long and at least 300 pounds. Over the years, Stumpy has kept the staff of SREL on their toes. Stories have been told of times he has escaped, times other alligators have come to visit, one event where he attacked a canoe when it was being used by personnel to unclog a drain, and he has even crushed a National Geographic video camera. The stumps have also provided a lot of help to researchers at the lab, to include an up-close look at alligator behaviors. Here we see Stumpy's mating call. Many offspring produced by the stumps have been used in programs to teach thousands of people about the important role alligators play in the ecosystem. In January of 2006, a team of 10 people from SREL captured Stumpy to obtain his weight and measurements. At that time, he was 12.5 feet long, roughly 630 pounds, and approximately 5 feet in girth. We discovered that while Stumpy always had one damaged eye, the vision in the other is definitely going. He will swim into things or even miss the food when trying to grab it. This loss of vision led him to accidentally getting a hold of Miss Stump's back leg. Stumpy did the death roll with Miss Stump's leg in his mouth. She was able to get away and her leg has healed, but it does not appear that she uses it anymore. It was a stark reminder that these alligators are still very wild. In 2019, SREL maintenance began working on clearing out what would become the Stump's new pond, complete with a sturdy fence. Due to Stumpy's age, we know that physically catching him and moving him would be very detrimental, so we came up with another plan. Supplies were collected and a corridor was built. Roadkill raccoons were picked up and used as bait to coax Stumpy through the corridor to his new pond. It took roughly 76 minutes of coaxing, prodding, and a lot of begging to get Stumpy to his new pond. The following day, Miss Stump was physically caught and moved. She was not falling for the old roadkill raccoon trick. We have monitored the alligators since they moved, and they seem to be quite happy with their new pond. They are both back to basking together and living the good life. Alligators are apex predators and help keep other animal populations in balance. They tunnel deep depressions or gator holes that provide a temporary water source during droughts. Those gator holes can be a source of life-saving water for fish, birds, turtles, and other creatures. So while many people find alligators terrifying, these beautiful reptiles help maintain a critical balance in our ecosystem. If you find yourself in the presence of an alligator, observe from a distance. Do not feed the alligator and do not disturb nests or small alligators, as the mother alligator is close by to protect them. Report nuisance gators to your local authorities, and if you are attacked by an alligator, always fight back.